Okay, so in the previous videos that you've watched, you've been working on your fabric samples. This is going to be a component of the bookmark. Okay, what I'm going to be talking about in this video is marking out the back and front sections of the bookmark, and these are going to be made from different types of cardstock. Okay, you'll find that you've been given a more compliant cardstock for the front, so a more flexible cardstock, and a more rigid one for the back. Okay, so that's how you'll kind of know. Okay, but you could potentially mix these up if you wish. Okay, now in your packs you will have the dimensions or measurements for the two different parts. So as you can see, we've got one here that's the back. I'm going to do the back in black, and we've got one at the front which has a window section to be cut out there, and I'm going to be doing that one in white because it's just easier to see on the video. Okay, so what I'm going to do is start with the front one because it's a little bit more complicated. What you'll need to do this is you'll need either a steel rule or a plastic rule. You'll notice the difference between these is the steel rule, the measurements start right on the end there, whereas on the plastic rule we need to make sure that we start measuring from that 0 point, which is normally about 5mm in, and we need a pencil to be kind of drawing these out. I'm going to be using my steel rule. So if we look at our first component here, we're going to look at the overall dimensions first. So our length there, if we follow these two lines coming out from the top and bottom point there, we can see our length is 180mm. That's 18 centimeters, but we always use millimeters in DT. And at the bottom, the distance is coming from here to here, it is 80mm. So it's 180 in height, 80mm in width. That's what we're going to be working on. Now, in your packs, you will also have, as I say, two pieces of cardstock. Now, these have been cut for you, and what you will find is that there is a corner. You'll probably find both corners, but there is a corner on this where the edge of the material is completely flat, and you'll find that corner is completely square. It is at 90 degrees, okay? This is called a datum edge, okay? Whenever we mark from material, we always mark from a datum to make sure that things become straight and become square. And that's very important for this particular part because obviously all of the edges there are at 90 degrees, it's all square, okay? Now, what we're going to do is we're going to measure 2 points, and we're going to be doing the width first, which is 80mm. So I'm going to, in the case of my steel rule, I'm going to put it right up to the edge like this, making sure there's no gap there, and I'm going to mark just a dot. I'm not going to put a cross or a line, just a dot like this at 80mm at the top datum edge of that material. I'm then going to go to the bottom edge, again line my rule right up to the edge of the material like this, and put a second dot at 80mm. By putting 2 points to mark between like this, it ensures that my line that I mark vertically up the piece of material is going to be parallel from the edge. It will maintain this 80mm distance, and that's what we have to be careful about doing, because obviously we're going to have two pieces that need to be drawn exactly the same, and they need to have square edges. Now, my second distance, as we said, is 180mm. I'm going to do this with the other ruler. So the plastic ruler, you might have one of these, and notice the difference. This time, I'm lining up the 0 point, okay? Not the edge of the ruler, the 0mm point there on the edge of the material. And again, I'm putting a dot there at 18 centimeters or 180mm. You'll notice that's another difference between the rulers. I'm then going to go to the other side line. Be very mindful that I need to have this exactly on 0 here, and then mark another point on the line like this at 180mm or 18 centimeters. I then draw these two lines together like this, and that will form the perimeter, the outside edge of the material I'm going to then cut later on. Now, going back to our drawing, we can see there is a section on there that's clearly labelled. It says this section is going to be cut out. That is what we're going to do. We're going to cut that section out. You will notice the dimension on this is 60 going across, and it's a square. This is actually 60 this way as well, so 60 by 60 square. And you'll see on the drawing the space between the edge going this way is 10mm or 1 centimetre, and the space like this is also 10mm or 1 centimetre. So going back to my drawing, what I'm going to do from the edge again is I'm going to mark 1 point at 10mm. I'm going to go to the other side of the material just as we have done before and mark 10mm, and then I'm going to draw a line going right across like this. What I'm then going to do is go to the edge, because we're going to be drawing lines down there, line it up exactly with 0 there, put a point at 10 there, go to the bottom, put another point at 10mm like this, and I'm going to draw the lines going down. What we've there produced, this corner here, we know that the gap is 10 here, just as it is on my drawing, and we know the gap here is 10mm, just as it is on the drawing here. We're then going to draw our square section in there. It's going to be 60 by 60 millimeters. So we go back to our drawing. This time I'm marking from here. You could go from here if you wish. I'm going to mark from here because I know it's going to be 60, and I'm going to put a dot at 60 millimeters. I'm then going again to the bottom of the page there to make sure my lines are straight and put another point at 60 millimeters. Once again, I'm going to connect these two lines up. It doesn't matter that they're too long, but we're going to use a light pencil line anyway so that we can rub away if we need to. I'm then going to go to the top and complete my square. So it's going to be 60 by 60 millimeters. I put one dot at 60 millimeters on one side of the line. Again, I go to the other side of the line and press 60 millimeters like this. And then I'm going to draw my line going across. So that is the front template. The front template is the more complicated of the two. The rear template is a lot simpler because it is just a rectangle. So we'd use the same process of marking the points, and the sizes or dimensions will be 180 by 80 millimeters for the second part. So that is marking out your templates for the front and back of the bookmark.